Images that appear to show Andrew Mountbatten Windsor crouching over an unidentified woman have emerged in a newly released collection of files connected to the late American sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The pictures are part of more than 3 million documents made public by the Trump administration, though where and when the images were taken remains unclear. Mr. Mountbatten Windsor has been approached for comment but has not responded. He has consistently denied any wrongdoing. The U.S. Justice Department said this release represents the final set of materials to be published. Reporting on the disclosures, John Sudworth says that among more than 180,000 images are photographs showing the then Prince Andrew kneeling over and touching a woman whose identity has been concealed. No background information, such as the date or location, accompanies the images. While Andrew has always denied criminal conduct, this latest release again raises serious concerns about his judgment. Included is a 2010 email exchange, years after Epstein had been convicted of child sex offenses, in which Epstein suggests Andrew meet a 26-year-old Russian woman in London. Andrew replies that he would be delighted to see her and asks whether she would be bringing a message, adding that she should be given his contact details. Epstein responds by describing the woman as 26, Russian, intelligent and attractive, and confirms she already has Andrew's email. The documents also contain further claims involving Peter Mandelson, who resigned last year as British ambassador to Washington after details of his close relationship with Epstein became public. Among the allegations is that Epstein paid £10,000 to Mandelson's then partner, now husband, Ronaldo Avila da Silva to fund an osteopathy course. Lord Mandelson has called his association with Epstein a terrible mistake, and says he was unaware of his crimes. The files appear to pose little direct risk to President Trump, aside from unverified claims that the FBI had previously dismissed, and the administration says there is no evidence of a broader conspiracy. However, with many documents still withheld or heavily redacted, Epstein's victims argue that the full truth has yet to be revealed.
When the president signed the bill in November, it was to release all the files. All the files need to be released. They haven't been released. So that's what closure looks like. That's what justice looks like, whether anyone's prosecuted or not. Get the full information out there so the public, the survivors, and everyone can really know what's going on.
As pressure continues for him to testify in the United States, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has still not commented on the latest disclosures, though he has consistently denied any involvement in wrongdoing. The newly released documents also reveal email exchanges between the late Jeffrey Epstein and tech entrepreneur Elon Musk. While Musk has not been accused of any misconduct, the emails show discussions about possibly visiting Epstein's private island on multiple occasions. In one 2012 message, Musk asked which day or night would host the wildest party on the island. However, there is no proof that Musk ever made the trip. Responding on X, Musk said he strongly supported the release of the Epstein files and welcomed their publication. He stated that his contact with Epstein was minimal and that he repeatedly declined invitations to visit the island or travel on Epstein's private jet. Musk added that he was aware some of the emails could be taken out of context and used unfairly to damage his reputation. Prominent civil rights lawyer Gloria Allred, who represents several of Epstein's victims, has also reacted to the latest document release.
Some of them are completely devastated by the fact that the Attorney General, the Department of Justice, was supposed to and indicated that they were redacting victims' names, the survivors' names. And yet, today, with the release of these more than 3 million files, many of the names of my clients who have been Jane Doe for many, many years were in fact published, and this is devastating to them, and we have to deal with that because they had little or no trust in the government. Now they have no trust in the government because the government has not earned that trust. And the Assistant Attorney General today, Todd Blanche, in his press conference said that he hopes that the release of the files will bring closure to the victims. This is ridiculous because they have devastated so many of these survivors by publicly releasing their names. At best, it was a sloppy job. At worst, it smacks of a cover-up.
Laura Ulrich there. With me is our correspondent John Sudworth. John, a number of questions from this, but first of all, the administration indicating this is the final batch. Is that likely to be the case?
That's what they're saying, that they have complied with the law, which was that they release all relevant files except for a few exceptions for legal reasons or to protect protect the identities of the victims, but they say this is pretty much it. What's interesting, Geeta, I think in some ways this story is now playing bigger in the UK than it is in the US. Some US news sites I noticed not even leading on this story this morning, and I think that's of course because of the involvement of people like Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, Peter Mandelson, etc. There are of course other high-profile American figures caught up in this latest batch of documents. The Microsoft founder Bill Gates, for example, in what looks like an email that wasn't sent, written by Jeffrey Epstein. The suggestion in these files is that Bill Gates caught a sexually transmitted disease. He has called that suggestion absurd and false, and like everybody involved in this, all strenuously denying any involvement in anything, certainly anything wrong, and very definitely nothing criminal. And actually, these files bear that out. We heard Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's personal lawyer and Deputy Attorney General, sort of releasing these latest batch of documents, saying that there is no evidence here of co-conspirators. If there was, he said, we would be prosecuting those individuals. The trouble with all of this, of course, we were told last year that there were a potential 6 million documents they were looking at. Now we're told they have finished with the release of 3.5 million of them. So somewhere 2.5 million haven't been released. For the Justice Department, they will say that's because they're irrelevant or legally confidential or need to be redacted to protect victims. For those who see conspiracy in that, in any of this, they will say they're being withheld precisely for that reason, to continue the cover-up. And so, of course, I think as much as the Justice Department, as much as the Trump administration wants to draw a line, I think this is very unlikely to do so.
Yeah, we've seen Gloria Allred there saying that, in fact, identities have been released also for the first time, and a call from a lot of those people also for just more material to come out. Do you know whether there's any legal route for them to do that?
Well, you're right, as well as claiming that an insufficient amount of material has been released, they are also complaining that in the material that has been released, despite the Justice Department saying that it's been very careful and has withheld information precisely to protect their identities, it has gone ahead and done so. I haven't myself seen any documents where their identities have been revealed, but they are very unhappy about that. Legal avenues, very difficult. Ultimately, the law seemed to give the discretion to the Department of Justice to make those decisions about confidentiality and legal issues. But politically, at least, we can be absolutely certain this story isn't over.
John Sudworth, thank you very much indeed for being with us.